Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. 'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of heaven. A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at ubnradio.com.
Broadcasting live from the UBN Studios in Hollywood, California. Well, actually calling into Hollywood from his own little corner of Northeast Ohio. It's the Left of Str8 Show with your host, Scott Fullerton. Join us for fun talk and celebrity interviews, exploring the worlds of entertainment, foodies, and books. He's not off his rocker, just a little left of straight. Now, here's your host, Scott Fullerton.
Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome to the Left of Str8 Show. I am your host, Scott Fullerton, and it's Monday, February 1st. We're already the second month in on 2016. Can you believe it? Hey, we got a great show today. So excited. Margaret Cho is going to be our very special guest coming up in just a few minutes. But let's first welcome, I got a new engineer today, Jarvis over at UBN. We've said last week that Chris is working at Paramount now. Jarvis, welcome to the Left of Str8 Show. How you doing, man?
Hey, thank you. I'm doing fine,
Hey, well, welcome you to the program. We definitely appreciate all your hard work over there in L.A. while I'm stuck here in beautiful downtown Ohio. How was your weekend, Jarvis? Anything fun and exciting?
Hey, the weekend was good. You know, it's cold here. I don't know what's going on.
Let's not talk cold when you're talking to Northeast Ohio person.
You're right.
What was cold this week? I know you had a little rain this weekend. What was cold?
It was like, can you believe, 58.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll let you whine on that one a little bit because it actually got up to 59 here yesterday. So that's pretty good. That's not too bad then at all. I guess you have a little bit of right to complain. But normally we're going down to 32 again on Thursday. So
wow.
You just have a little bit of leeway there for me.
Wow.
Well, I'm so excited to have you on the board. You're here for the great first show. We have the incredible Margaret Cho coming on a little bit. I really like having a Jarvis in the engineers. I kind of feel like Iron Man with Jarvis. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
There you go. See, it makes it an exciting radio time. Well, hey, I watched a little bit of TV last night, and I know, Jarvis, you're kind of like Chris, not a big TV fan, but did you hear that Fox put on a live Grease musical last night?
You know, I heard about it. I did hear about it. I actually love Grease when I was a child.
It turned out really good. I was very impressed. I didn't have huge hopes for it. You never know what it's going to be like. It was Fox's first time doing a live show. And NBC's got it down now. They're on the third time there. They did a really good job, I thought, with The Wiz in December. Mm-hmm. But this is Fox's first for it, and did a really good job on it. They did 12 sets on the Warner Brothers lot over there. 20 acres they took. They did 12 different sets on 20 acres over there. So they took up some space and dedicated some time to it.
Yeah, they really did.
It was really cool. The opening, they had Jessie J do an intro to it, kind of gave you a little behind-the-scenes tour. She did the opening Grease is the Word song, kind of walked through the entire sets, all 12 sets, like took to the entire song to get through it all. It was pretty incredible. Wow. But she opened up the show there. We had Aaron Tveit, who is a great Broadway person, known for a lot of roles on Broadway, including The Wiz, including Wicked, which is one of my favorite shows. He's also on a show Graceland on TV. He played lead along with Juliana Hough, who's from Dancing with the Stars. Mm-hmm. They played Danny and Sandy. Really good job. I mean, Grease is kind of corny, you know how that goes. So they played it up really, really well. Vanessa Hudgens from High School Musical, you know who that is?
Yes.
She ended up playing Rizzo, which is like one of my favorite parts on there.
Right.
And at first I was kind of a little disappointed in the beginning because she played it almost exactly like Stockard Channing from the movie. And I thought, okay, let's get a little bit more original here. And I wasn't overly impressed. But by the time she got to her solo and singing the Rizzo song, which is The Worst Things I Can Do, she was like in her element. And then I find out afterwards, makes me feel like a total idiot. Her father had died the night before, died late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, and she went on to the show anyway.
Wow.
Pretty incredible.
Yeah,
I mean, she dedicated it to her dad. They put up a slide at the end, and I just have so much more respect for her. A lot of fun little guest stars. Mario Lopez did kind of a behind-the-scenes thing during the commercials. Then all of a sudden, he's Vince Fontaine at the dance-off that they have. So that was a lot of fun.
That sounded fun.
Remember Eve Plum from Brady Bunch?
Yeah.
She played the mechanic teacher. Remember the really cool mechanic teacher from the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, so much fun. Wow. So funny. Didn't even recognize her really, as you would never think of her as Jan. But it was great. Joe Jonas's band played in the band at the big dance-off, and that was kind of fun. Mm-hmm. And Frenchie is the Beauty School Dropout girl?
Yes.
They had Dee Dee Khan, who played her in the movie, actually played the waitress this time. So they had her from the movie in the show, which I thought was fantastic. And the new Frenchie was Carly Rae Jepsen, and she did a really good job.
Wow. That was pretty neat to have her come back and play.
Oh, it was so cool. It was one of my highlights of the whole thing. I thought it was just fantastic to have her back on. Dee Dee Khan was just so much fun, and she did the Grease 1, she did the Grease 2. She showed up, did a cameo in that one, so I was so excited to see her cameo in this one. And then they had Boys to Men did the Beauty School Dropout song.
Really?
Like Frankie Valli. Oh, fantastic. It was so cool.
This sounds awesome.
We got to find a way to get you watch it on streaming, because I'm sure they're going to stream it. But it was really cool. They had Boys to Men play that, and they did a little bit. They combined the stage show along with the movie. So they had Frenchie sing her song that was from the stage show, wishing she had a guardian angel to kind of help her know what to do after she had that bad dye job incident. And then they went straight from that to the Boys to Men doing Beauty School Dropout. Fantastic piece of work. I was so excited about it.
Wow, that sounds great.
It was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. So anyway, great night on TV last night. It was so much fun. They did a great job live. I just thought everyone did a really good job, and I was really a lot more impressed than I thought I'd be. It was just a really fun night on TV, so I really enjoyed that a lot. I want to talk about, we got Margaret coming on just a little bit, and since I'm over here, whenever she gives a call and let me know, we're going to play her new music video.
Okay.
But I want to talk about a new show I'll be doing. The Left of Str8 Show is now 2 days a week. Right here every Monday, you're going to catch me on UBN at 3 o'clock Pacific time, 6 o'clock Eastern time. On Tuesdays, tomorrow, I do my show on Blog Talk Radio, which is at 2 o'clock Pacific time and 5 o'clock Eastern time. And starting on February 18th, I'm going to start a new show on Blog Talk Radio on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Pacific time and 5 p.m. Eastern time with a really good friend of the show, Kevin Hogan, who founded a new organization called Healing Stigma. And we're going to start doing a show that takes on a little more serious issues. I love my Monday and Tuesday show, but we talk to a lot of fun celebrity guests. We talk about really fun and silly things. Thursday, we're going to kind of be a little more serious on it. We're going to talk about how to heal stigma and a lot of things that are serious in the LGBT community and along with our straight allies. And our first guest is Rachel Griffin, who's a fantastic singer. She's producing a musical right now, but she is an expert on mental health as well. And she's going to be our first guest. We're going to talk a little bit about mental health and the stigma of people thinking if you have to take the pills on mental health, there's a lot of stigma behind that. And that's going to be our first really serious talk we're going to have. And that's going to come on Thursday, February 18th with Kevin Hogan. So I'm really excited to start that new show. And Margaret has a pretty interesting story. I'm going to see if we can get her as a guest on that as well. So that's kind of cool. Also, I want to talk about, I talked to someone over the weekend here, a new friend of the show who has a website called calcommen.com. It's California Community of Men.com, www.calcommen.com. And they're a social group for gay men in all over Southern California. It's really kind of cool what they do. They put together just a coffee clash in a couple of locations, Palm Springs and LA. There's no really board of directors. It's very loosely put together, but they just have a great time. Fellowship as men. They're doing a community camp. They do about 4 of those a year, and their next one is coming up February 12th through 15th in Angeles Oaks, which is up there near Big Bear Mountains, at Camp Round Meadow. So that's February 12th through 15th. It's $175 the entire weekend. All your food's included, all the fellowships included. I hope you'll go check out their website again, www.calcommen.com. And real excited. We're going to have them as a guest on the show in March. So real excited to meet up with them this past weekend. What else we have going on here? Of course, today, if you're election people, we know that the Iowa caucuses start today. The official, finally, kickoff of the 2016 election cycle has started today. We've been hearing about the candidates for months now, and tonight is the very first part of the Iowa caucuses where they'll find out who the delegates go for the Democrats and for the Republicans. So it's do you follow the politics at all, Jarvis?
A little bit.
It's something it's kind of a third rail. I haven't really talked about too much on the show. I'm definitely a progressive Democrat, though. I'm usually in the ball's court there. We have a couple of really interesting candidates on our side. We got Bernie Sanders, very progressive, very liberal, independent senator out of Washington. And we have, of course, Hillary Clinton, that's been around forever in the establishment. Everyone knows Hillary. And it's going to be a real interesting race to see who takes it. Everyone kind of thought Hillary was going to be the elected ruler no matter what. And Bernie has put on a huge, fantastic show of it. So we'll see what happens. Either way, it's going to be important that we keep a Democrat in the White House after Obama, because the Republicans aren't really good for our LGBT community. In fact, Trump, who was ahead, obviously, in a lot of the GOP polls, I thought Trump was probably the best of all the evils, honestly, going into it. Which made a lot of my friends crazy with me. But I really thought that as far as social-wise, I never really had a problem with it socially. But then this weekend, he came out on the talk shows, and sure enough, he's joining all the other Republicans that wants to overturn the Supreme Court's ruling on marriage equality. So unfortunately, he's just into the same tank as everybody else there.
Right.
So never an exciting time, but what can you do on that? All right, let's see. Margaret hopefully should be calling in here within the next 5 minutes. We're going to go ahead and get ready to go. Why don't we go ahead and play her video now? It's about a 4 or 5 minute video. And then when we come back, we'll see if she's on the line or not, since I can't hear there. So, Jarvis, why don't you cue that YouTube video off? This is going to be Margaret Cho's latest video. She has an album coming out next year we're going to talk about. It's called I Want to Kill My Rapist, which is funny yet serious at the same time. When we talk a little about her story, you'll find a little bit more about that. But is that close to queuing up there for us, Jarvis?
I'm ready to go.
All right, why don't we go ahead and play that, and when we get back, we're either going to have Margaret Cho or we're going to be ready for Margaret Cho.
All right.
Here we go.
Made a decision with some derision. I had a vision about some killing. You better worry, you better hurry, 'cause it gets scary like cemeteries. I double space it, thinking so basic. You can't escape it, 'cause I wanna kill my rapist. 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 Thought I forgave you, but I mistake you. But I'll shake you, and then I'll bake you. You better run now, I'm having fun now. Here comes the sun now, and you'll be done now. I see it clearly and sincerely. You pay dearly
Time's up.
Shows I Want to Kill My Rapist. Jarvis, how are we doing?
We actually have about a minute left on the video.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Well, let's see. All right.
Welcome back, everybody. And that was Margaret Cho's latest video, I Want to Kill My Rapist. Jarvis, how we doing? Has Margaret been able to call in yet?
Yes, she's on the line.
Fantastic. Let's go ahead and do our introduction here. I am so humbled to have my guest on the show today. She's an actress, a singer, an activist, just an icon in our LGBT community, really. She shares her voice in activism not only with our community, but for marginalized women, the homeless, and so many more. She recently signed on to be a regular in 2016 on E's Fashion Police and can be seen there tonight, as well as hosting the 2016 New Now Next Awards on Logo. Please welcome the amazing Margaret Cho. Margaret, can you hear me?
Hi. Yes.
Thank you so much for calling in. You're very welcome. How are you today?
I'm very good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic now. Thank you so much for calling in. I mean, right off the bat here, you were at Aspen Ski Week. You hosted the New Now Next Awards. You have the SAG Awards this weekend for Fashion Police. You have your new album coming out. You've been guest starring on sitcoms. The Psycho Tour is starting back again Thursday in North Carolina. So my first question, is this really Margaret Cho, or do you have a clone? Because it's impossible to do everything you're doing right now.
Oh, gosh, I wish I had a clone. That would be great. You know, that would be really fun. I think, well, you know, it's what I love, and my work is closely related to my social life. So all this is just a chance to hang out with different friends. And so whether it's the New Now Next Awards, which I got to do with the fabulous Bianca Del Rio and Megan Trainor, who I love, and then to Fashion Police is just hanging out with Melissa Rivers and Nene and Brad and Juliana. So it's all like my social life too.
That is so much fun. And we're going to definitely talk about all those. I want to start out a little serious though, because we have a lot of fun things to talk about. And I got about 30 minutes to ask 2 hours worth of questions here. So let's kind of start your activism. You're really renowned in your activism, and it's become so much more personal, I think, as you've shared your stories. And we started off playing your video, I Want to Kill My Rapist, everything. And you've kind of been pretty vocal in the last 6 months about your past. And why don't you share a little bit about how that's happened, and has it kind of changed how you're feeling about things the last 6 months you've been talking about a little bit more?
Well, I have been talking about my own history with sexual abuse, and something that is interesting is that people didn't really, I think, want to talk about it. And it's very hard to talk about as a comedian, because I think all audiences want you to be heroic. And in that situation, I was victimized. And I think, so that there was, for whatever reason, I'd been talking about it, but it hadn't been really picked up. And then I think the consciousness around rape and molestation has become much more public and much bigger. this is a good way for us to heal, for us who've survived. And so I was happy about being able to write a song about it and to make a really exciting video with a lot of tremendous young people. They're between the ages of 11 weeks and 18 years old, who are, most of them are great martial artists. And I feel like the video is really cathartic, and it's all very healing.
That's fantastic. And it's real important to do with those age groups. I love the ages of the girls that participated, because you kind of started with a family friend when you were 5 through 12 years old. And then even in high school, it kept on going. So it's really important for the younger girls now to realize what this is about and how to stop it and how to protect themselves, right?
Right. And there's some boys in there, too. There's the little boys, but at the... At that age, they, like, the really young ones, who were not as great as martial artists as the girls, and so you see a lot more of the real house kicks, roundhouse kicks, what they're doing, and a lot more action, because they're stronger and can really fight.
Right. That's just so powerful. I was really excited to see that video. You got a great album coming out. I want to talk about it a little bit too, but let's staying on the serious vein a little bit. You're really, you're very highly thought of, Robin Williams, and you kind of took his death very hard. But you started that Be Robin campaign. And I was just so impressed this last summer watching about everything you were doing in San Francisco. You just basically picked a street corner, put out a guitar case, said, give a little if you can, take a little if you can, talked about it on Twitter and everything, and talk about how that experience was. I mean, the homelessness problem is so vast in this country right now. Talk about what brought you on that mantle.
Well, I think that so many of us, especially in the comedy community, were really devastated by Robin's death. And what people don't remember as well is that he was a great philanthropist. He really worked hard doing a lot of different kinds of charity work, and one of his main causes was to help the homeless. And so Be Robin was really a celebration of that aspect of his life and his commitment to helping others. And I think it helped all of us who were involved to get over the loss of him, which was really difficult. And so the campaign continues. I'll be doing it in Atlanta on February 21st and 22nd. Atlanta also has a very difficult homeless situation, and it's cold there, and it's this time of year, so this will be really helpful for that region.
That's fantastic. That is so cool that you did that. And that you really had a lot of people come out and support you. I mean, I saw Rosie O'Donnell gave a lot to the campaign, and you did a whole campaign there. And that was just really marvelous work. I really want to thank you for that. Well,
thank you. I'm proud of it. And I feel like it's something that anybody can take on. You know, it's just about giving very actively and doing volunteer work and just getting involved. It's a different way of approaching charity than I had approached it before, and I found it to be really important for my own health, my sanity, and my soul.
Right. Now, have you or any of your other contemporary comedians ever thought about moving on the legacy of comic relief? I mean, that was a big part of his and Billy's and Whoopi's charity. Has there been any talk about maybe even resurrecting with any of you or your kindred spirits?
I haven't really thought about that, but that would be great. I think a lot of people would love to, so maybe that's in the future.
I think that'd be fantastic. I mean, you are so well known for your activism and for giving back. You're contemporary where they were at their point right now. You have a lot of great friends. I would love to see that happen again, because they really did a lot for homeless back then. And it's sad we're talking now 20 years later almost that we're still having to do this. So I really hope you and your friends would do something like that. I think that would be fantastic.
Well, thank you. We will do it.
Oh, there you go. Okay, I'm a producer automatically. Yeah, I I was telling the audience earlier, and I hope we can maybe get you back another time. I love doing my Left with Str8 Show. I've been doing about 7 months now, and I have a lot of fun talking about entertainment and foodies and books and stuff. But I've really felt on myself, too, a lot more of calling to do some serious issues I really can't bookend in here. So we're going to start a new Thursday show on internet radio, all about healing stigma and the stigma that comes along with things such as abuse, such as obesity, such as mental health. And I'd love to maybe have you as a guest when we get to those on a Thursday show sometime, because I just really appreciate all you've done for those kind of things.
Oh, thank you. That's great. I think it's really important, and I would love to do that.
Super duper. Let's get on to some happier topics tonight. I mean, you're all over the TV tonight, so let's start with first time out at 8 o'clock tonight on E! Network. Fashion Police is back. We have the SAG Awards over the weekend. Now, did you go to that, or do you watch it on TV, or how did that work for you?
No, I watched it, but I was also doing shows in Kansas City, so it was hard to watch the whole thing because I was performing. So I could watch a little bit of it, but then I flew back early yesterday, and I shot it. And I love doing Fashion Police. You know, it's a really fun job. It's another way to honor another friend that I miss very much, Joan Rivers, and get to hang out with Melissa Rivers and Brad and Juliana and Mimi, and we really laugh and have a great time.
Well, I'm so excited to have you on the show. It's so much fun to begin with. Tony Tripoli is a good friend of my show. He's been on once or twice. Love Tony, and it's just you bring a great comic sensibility back to that show again, a la Joan. So it's so cool to have you back on there.
Oh, thank you.
Now, do you guys
Thank
still
you. Yeah, I love Tony. Tony's great.
He is fantastic. Now, you guys still doing the
He's great.
crack of dawn filming where you had to be up at like first thing this morning or yesterday morning to film this thing?
Well, no, yesterday I had to fly in from the Midwest, so I think that everybody was relieved that we got to start a little later. Not that it was because of me, but we did start a bit later because we had some time. But usually it's the night of the show, we stay up all night and then go in at about 5 in the morning to tape.
Welcome Academy Awards, huh? You got about 4 weeks left till that happens,
Yes.
right?
I know.
And talking about Joan Rivers, I saw an article that you were interviewed in a while back, and you have a beautiful piece of like trash art in your home above a fireplace that was brought to you by a couple different friends of Joan. Can you talk about that for a second? I thought that was beautiful.
Well, it's actually made by Jason Messier, who's a tremendous artist, and he takes junk of his subject and then he makes a portrait of them. So I have one of my own garbage, but this one is very special. This is a lot of items from Phyllis Diller to Amy Schumer. It's all things belonging to female comedians, and it's a beautiful portrait of Joan made out of old Lanaken bottles of Phyllis Diller's to, I think, Kathy Griffin's Monistat, Sarah Silverman's gefilte fish, and a lot of surgical dressings. It's really funny, and it's really a great tribute to her, to Joan, and I think it's got a great spirit. You know, it's all about female comedians. That
is so. And did you do it while she was still alive? Did you have it commissioned while she was still around? Did she ever see it?
No, she never saw it. It was actually created after her death, and I just had to have it.
Oh, I can imagine. I'll put a picture of it on my website later because it's just fantastic. I saw that in that article and thought, that is so cool. And just your whole house, just reading the article, you seem to have a pretty eclectic house. You've put together things from all over. Can you talk about that a second?
Yes, I'm a big art collector, and so I have a lot of sacred art from all over the world, including Tibet and Nepal and India, and just everywhere I've been, and then I have some Jason Messiers. I have many Olivias, which are really great. They're actually portraits of me, done by the tremendous artist Olivia. So I have a pretty wonderful collection of very interesting art. I have a huge portrait done in my own blood by the the great artist Vincent Castiglia. That's very unusual and
Wow.
different. And so, yeah, I'm proud. I'm proud of my collection.
That sounds so cool. It just sounded like it was a fascinating place. I'd love to see that. That is so cool. All right, well, let's
Yes.
talk about now we have tonight after Fashion Police at 10 o'clock on Logo. You are hosting You Now Next Awards through the magic of television. That was done in Gay Aspen Gay Ski Week last night. How fun was that to be up in the mountains there?
Oh, it was so fun, and I got to hang out with Bianca Del Rio, who I just love, and we filmed a funny sketch for it, and then going out there doing comedy, it was great, and then getting to enjoy Megan Trainor and Cirque du Soleil, and it's a lot of fun. It's a new kind of award show because it's actually the prediction of what's going to happen in the next year. So it's like the a little bit like a reverse of what award shows do. Instead of recognizing talents that already happened, this is something that predicts the future.
That is cool. And you talked about the video, that was hilarious. You're hosting due to an unfortunate accident by Bianca, right?
Yes, I wanted to bring back that Tanya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan story and live it out with Bianca, and I thought it turned out great.
That was so funny. I saw that online. I thought it was hilarious. Now, I saw something about Michael Urie and Shangela doing a Tu Wong Fu tribute. That's like one of my favorite movies of all time. What's that about? What do we get to see tonight on that?
Well, I think that they're watching it, kind of commenting on it and enjoying the film. I think it's great, and so that'll be really, really funny.
That should be great. I love that. That's so much fun. I do have some people in our chat room, and one of the questions is, being in the business so long, do you still feel that there's racial bias for roles? We have all the controversy on the Academy of Roles right now. You were the very first Eastern Asian sitcom 20 years ago for American Girl, and now you've been guesting on Ken Long's show. What do you feel about the racial bias now in roles?
Well, I think it still exists, although now there's definitely more diversity. However, the fact that there were no people of color in all of the acting nominations, both last year and this year, is a problem. And I'm glad that it's finally being addressed. I think invisibility is just as bad as overt racism because it sort of denotes that you don't exist. And this is really important to acknowledge. So I'm glad that there's a lot of conversation around it, but it's still very disappointing. However, things are better than they were. At least we're acknowledging the problem.
Right, exactly. And you're an activist and everything. What do you think about the kind of boycott? I'm kind of on the offense. I think that if you're boycotting, you're going to even show less racial diversity in the audience. What are your kind of thoughts on that kind of activism?
Well, I think it is a good statement to boycott, and I absolutely understand, and I think it's actually great to have that in everyone's mind. But I do want to watch Chris Rock's monologue because he's one of my heroes. He's a great comedian, and I think he's going to have a lot to say about what's going on, and he will be teaching people a lot too. So that's really good.
Yeah, I'm really glad that he stayed on because I think, like you said, it's going to be so important to hear what he has to say. I mean, such a great comedian and a great writer. I think it's going to be a really must-listen-to monologue this year.
Yes, absolutely. So I think it's probably going to be the most important monologue that we've ever seen in the Oscars. And so I think it'll be historic.
I agree. I agree 100% on that. And now you've been guesting on Ken's show, Ken Long's show, for Dr. Ken. You were the pioneer back 20 years ago with American Girl. How do you feel? I mean, it's taken 20 years to get another Asian show back on with that and Off the Boat. What's your feelings on all of that?
Well, I'm grateful, and I'm really proud of Ken and really proud of Fresh Off the Boat. I think they're both great shows. And it's like they're doing amazing work, and I'm just excited to still be included.
Well, it's so cool. I mean, when you had that show, I mean, I'm of a certain age, so I've seen everything here for a while. And you got so much grief for that first show for being the real you. They were said you were too heavy for it. You said, what did you kind of learn from the business when you did your first show back then?
I think I needed to learn not to take things so hard or to take things so personally because it was just so devastating. And so now I have a thicker skin, and I certainly survived the experience, but it can be really difficult. I think it can be really hard to be different, and I'm grateful that I had the opportunity, but it was tough.
I can imagine. I just saw at the time. It was unbelievable to me. It's like she's kind of portraying a little bit. I mean, it wasn't really your life story, but it was kind of the first of its kind, and there was just a little too much piling on, I thought. But I'm glad it was a learning experience for you.
I mean,
and
it
something.
was tough.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes. No. I'm glad that I got to do it, and I'm glad that I got through it. But it was hard when it was happening.
I can imagine. Let's talk about your album. You have a new album out, American Myth, coming out at the end of April. You've already got 3 kind of videos that's going to be on the album. Ron's Got a DUI has the fantastic Leslie Jordan, who I'm just a huge fan of. I'm very good friends with Del Shores and all of his Sword Live show, and I love Leslie Jordan. And then you have Fat Pussy, directed by John Asher. You're getting back into the music thing. How's that going?
It's great, and I love this record, and it's a lot of it I wrote myself. So much of the composing I got to do, which was newer for me, and I collaborated with the incredible Garrison Starr, who I also worked with on my last record, Show Dependent. And I'm really pleased. I feel like these songs were meant to be sung, and I'm really happy to be doing it.
That is cool. And you have, I mean, your last album was Show Dependent. That was back in 2010, and you had great collaboration there. You had Annie DeFranco and a bunch of, do you have any collaborations on this one coming up?
Well, this one is just me and Garrison and a really killer group of musicians, and we just had the best time, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out.
Fantastic. All right, now we have to go on to my favorite subject that I've been waiting to talk about. I am the biggest Drop Dead Diva fan of all time. I got to tell you, I would turn in my gay card without watching that show. Tell me about 5 years on Lifetime on Drop Dead Diva.
Oh, I love Drop Dead Diva. It was such a great experience, and the cast, we became very close. We were filming out in Peachtree City, Georgia, which is this little town about an hour south of Atlanta. And so we were all sort of transplanted from LA and New York, and we just became a family. And I just saw Ben a couple of days ago, Ben who played Fred the Angel.
Oh my God, my absolute favorite's now on the new show with that Big Lots show. What's it called?
Oh, Superstore.
Exactly.
Yes, Superstore. Yeah, he's great, and we all remain very close, and it was great acting. Brooke Elliott is a tremendous actress, and so I learned a lot from all these great actors.
She is amazing. Brooke Elliott, I've loved. I've kind of followed a little bit of her Broadway stuff, and then when this came on, it was just, she's so much fun. Her effervescent personality comes right through the screen. It was just a fantastic show. I just can imagine. The musical episodes.
It's really great. Oh, yeah. We had a lot of fun, and then we're both singers. So Brooke and I really enjoyed that, too.
And like I said, Ben was probably my favorite Fred. Of course, we had Justin, who was the drop dead gorgeous Fred. But I just love Ben. Any fun behind the scenes stories you can tell me from Drop Dead? Any fun behind the scenes stories you can tell me? I just love that show.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but in Kill My Rapist, Jackson Hurst, who played Grayson Kent, the romantic lead on Drop Dead Diva, is the rapist. And his little baby son, Ryder, is 11 weeks old in the video. So he's a little baby that we had in there. So we're all very close still. You know, I always look for things to work on with those guys, and I really love them.
Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to go back and watch the video now again. I didn't know that Grayson was gonna be on that. How funny is that? That is so
Yes.
cool.
He's hard to recognize because he's such a different character. You know, he's like this evil guy. So, and we know Grayson Kent as just this beautiful, very tragic figure. So it's a different kind of role. He's very, very, very talented.
Nice. That is so cool. What do we have in the pipe coming up, Margaret? Do you have see any other television coming your way, or what's next for you besides you got the Notorious or the Psycho tour? You're starting back that in Thursday, right? North Carolina?
Yes, and I'll be working on Fashion Police as a co-host, serving there for some time, and then I'll also be working on a TV show that I'm developing for Amazon called Highlands, which is all about the marijuana boom. It's a big green rush in California and, of course, Colorado. And so it'll be a story about a family that's experiencing that. So that's really cool.
Oh, that is cool. What's the point of view going to be? Is like a family of growers or something? And how what's the point of view of the show?
It's about a dispensary, and it's about a family, and I play a recovering drug addict who's kind of trying to stay sober in the midst of all of that.
Wow, that's going to be kind of cool. And that's going to be on Amazon?
Yes.
Amazon and Netflix are doing such good work now. I can't wait for that. It's going to be fantastic.
Yes, thank you. I'm excited.
And talk a little about the Psycho tour. You're going to be, like I said, North Carolina. I'm almost thinking I'm driving down there. My brother lives in Charlotte. But you got Psycho tour starting this weekend, and then you're taking this all the way back to Asia and everything, right? You have Hong Kong and a couple other places scheduled?
Yes, Hong Kong and Singapore, and a second show just got added in Hong Kong, so that's really exciting. I've actually never performed in Asia, so this is a first. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm sure it's going to be great.
Fantastic. I wish you so much luck in that. And let's talk about all our fans. You have a great blog on your website, margaretcho.com. Where all can they find you on social media, Margaret, if they haven't already, and shame on them?
I actively tweet at Twitter at Margaret Cho. I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Instagram at Margaret_Cho. So people can really see what I'm doing. I'm very, very active on that.
Terrific. Well, I need to really thank you for your time today. I know you're very busy with everything going on. We have you again tonight. It's Fashion Police at 8 o'clock on E! Network. At 10 o'clock, we have the Noon Now Next Awards on Logo. We got the tour going on now. Appreciate all of your time. I really want to get in touch with you and have you back on our more serious Healing Stigma show on a Thursday that you're available. But I hope you have a fantastic tour. Thank you so much for being on the show today, Margaret.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, you have a great afternoon. I promised to keep you in 30 minutes, and we did.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, everyone. That was Margaret
Bye.
Cho. I'm so excited to have you on. Thank you, Margaret. Margaret Cho, if you're not following her on Twitter, check out her website, read her blog. She's just fantastic. She's everything to the community. Really appreciate her taking the time to come on today. Again, tonight she's on TV twice, 8 o'clock on E's Fashion Police, and at 10 o'clock on Logo for the New Now Next Awards. So excited to have her on right now. It's just been a fantastic show, so I really appreciate her time. Let's see. I know I stepped over the applause. I'm getting some funny talk from the chat room here. All right, let's go ahead and talk about our next couple of shows. Next week, if you want to go ahead and put that slide up for next week for me, Jarvis, we have the fantastic Raymond Rigoglosio. He's the founder of the Gay Men of Wisdom website. He's got a book that he wrote called Gay Men and the New Way Forward. Very fantastic, very interesting person. He'll be our guest next week talking about purpose of being gay and gay fellowship, and just I thought he was a very interesting person to read about. I kind of read his book, skimmed over his book so far. I'm going to have the whole thing read, by the time I talk to him next week. So I'm so excited to have Raymond on next week. And then tomorrow on the Left of Str8, there he is. Tomorrow on the Left of Str8 show on my Blog Talk network. I hope you'll tune in. That's at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern time is our 2-hour Blog Talk show. And I have 2 really great guests tomorrow. First, I have Rob Watson. Rob is a LGBT father of 2 in Santa Cruz. He's an excellent writer for the HuffPost blog. He has his own weekly radio show in Santa Cruz on LGBT issues. We're finding him all over the radio right now. He's a contributor to Gay News Radio. He works with our buddy here at Left of Str8, Garrett Miller, on Garrett's Thursday night show on Blog Talk called Rated LGBT Radio at 7 o'clock Central and 10 o'clock Eastern. So Rob will be on tomorrow night for me. We'll be talking all sorts of LGBT issues about his 2 gorgeous sons and what's happening in his life right now. And then I'm really excited to have my second guest on tomorrow night. I don't do too much locally from my little area of Northeast Ohio, but I have one of my good friends, Denise Russell, coming on the show. She is a drag queen, female impersonator, if you want to call it, that's been in the business for a long time. She is hugely popular in Northeast Ohio. She's traveled over 40 states, performing in shows everywhere from casinos to the Grand Ole Opry to every benefit you can think of in between. She is just a constant fundraiser for the LGBT community. You can see her on screen. She does impressions, fantastic. Dolly Parton. It will be a drinking day tomorrow. Like we always say, it's always happy hour somewhere. And Denise has some of the best toasts I've ever heard of. So she'll be, I guess, tomorrow on that. So we'll have a lot of fun there. And then coming up in the coming weeks, we have some great shows coming up. So I hope you'll please tell all of your friends to gather around the computer here at ubnradio.com and blogtalkradio.com. We have the amazing Josh Sabara next week, who wrote the funny book Porn Again. We have Matthew J. Dempsey, LGBT psychologist, has his own YouTube channel. It's hilarious. UBN's own Jasper Cole will be on in 2 weeks right here on UBN. I have Ben Farmer, Dan Kohler. The incredible Levi Crease will be here on UBN on the 22nd. And, of course, Garrett Miller is coming back to the show. So we have some great shows. We're all booked up in March. I already have half of April, great shows in February, and I have half of March booked already. So I really appreciate you all being part of Left of Str8. And I really appreciate you coming aboard today, Jarvis. How's everything out there in LA? You ready for a good week?
Yes, sir. Yes, I am. It's warming up.
It's warming up. Well, it's going to get a little colder here, but I'm glad it's warming up there. Be sure to follow the Left of Str8 show. Right here, you'll see our homepage. You can listen to all of our previous broadcasts. You can also check it out on my website, www.leftofstr8.com. All of the old podcasts are there. You can put for show ideas there. Just really enjoying being with you. I want to again thank our guest, Margaret Cho, today. And I just really appreciate you being part of the Left of Str8 show. We have some exciting news coming up in 2 weeks. I'm going to New York in the middle of February and should have a very exciting announcement to announce when I get back from New York. So that's always exciting. Tony Sweet, I appreciate you letting me be part of the UBN network here. And Jarvis, thanks for being part of us. Everyone in the chat room, thanks for being part of the Left of Str8 show. And we will see you tomorrow at Blog Talk Radio. Everyone have a great night. Are we ready to wrap up here?
It looks good.
Jarvis?
Yeah, we are.
I know I'm a minute ahead of time, but I talked quick today. All right, Jarvis. Thanks for being part of us. Thanks for being part of UBN Radio. Stay tuned. We have the Bob Show coming up in just a little bit, and you all have a great night. Bye-bye.
Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. 'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of heaven. A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at UBN Radio.